and our Christ, the Messiah. Uh, Also, I just want to thank everybody around here for an awesome Sabbath. Still, still got the tail end of it, but yeah, it was awesome. And if those songs by Michael McDonald are from you, well, thank you also very much. I Thank you. I That's absolutely just a neat surprise. Had a little app crash or something like that. My son, everything was working just fine, and then got out of the tub, rub a dub tub, and ran over here to get this started for y'all, and everything was looking great. And then all of a sudden, but you guys already, how this stuff can work. So enough about me. Um, let's see. Right off the bat, I got a few things written down. Um, I got to call the fella from Larch. He's the only one person I ever went and seen when I this last time around at the for really a sermon, other than just visiting, because there was only one other person that came to this sermon. This guy came all the way from Vancouver, up the mountain, Larch Mountain. Wow, my hair is frizzy. It's thin. All my family's hair is thin, but it just gets wacky. Made it that trek all the way up there for one person. So the Lord told me, get out of your bed and go. And then, like I said, on occasion I would go to Larch, but no, I just was led to read my Bible, and I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that you guys are. And Tori, thank you very much again, and Melly, and thank you. So, oh, and I wanted to let you know, I was just messing around about I wasn't about the food stamps with my daughter, but about Stewart's Meats. I would have just thrown her a 20, probably 40 to get me a quarter, half pound or something. And because I'm just saying that because I'm a little salty. I'll explain it when we meet, because they've stripped everything. They try not to give anything to, but thank the good Lord that I got people that things are getting better. So, but yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't do that. I couldn't do that in my right mind. Send you food, but that was a real thing though. They sent her that much, and the baby drinks formula. And but what a blessing, uh let's see what else. So yeah, Larch, I gotta call Andrew. He's a Sabbath keeper. One other person, there was no other. The Lord said, get up off your butt, go down there and see why I want you to go down. And now he doesn't I've only been there once before, so he no no I think twice, and he doesn't remember who I am. But he said, I was wondering if I was wasting my time going up there, because there was only one person that would come. You know so and so. And I said, no, to be honest, I don't. He goes, well, I really don't remember you. And I said, well, to be honest with you, Andrew, and I called you Tony. You didn't like that. He didn't because my nephew. Um, and I was just messing around, and I probably shouldn't have, but something told me, the good Lord told me, you go and you see what this is. Because I was listening to this. I was able to get the local radio with that down in Vancouver and Oregon and stuff. So like I said, I'd listen to House of Heron once in a while, but something told me, get up, because I'd work. I'd be working all day, and I'd want to just kick back in my own little cubicle. And something told me, go down there. And sure enough, pardon me, sure enough, it was just one guy with one other dude, this Sabbath keeper. And of course, there was other people that were not, which is fine. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of people standing there getting all robed in. So because it's just twinkling in the eye. People just change it. Things happen. So I went down there, and he didn't remember me, and he I told him, I said, well, I wasn't even going to go down there. I said, because I wasn't led to go to any of the this last time around, go to any services of any denominations, not even one that I remotely somewhat adhered to and come to realize was is truth, was the Adventist, and he was basically showing the Walter J. Veith videos, which I praise again, praise the good Lord. I even remember that because that was really awesome. That was about I think it was satanic. Was it cults, rituals, or bloodlines, or yeah, something like that. Walter J. Veith, VI something something. Don't expect me to spell them, but that's and it's just I got the two times I went, and it might have been no more than three, but and he said I wasn't gonna go anymore, and I was praying and asked the Lord if I should keep going because that's a long haul up there. And I'm said, well, and that's why I went down there. And he's like, well, I'm glad I did. And now he ain't able to go up there because little the little pickle that we're in. So yeah, but I just wanted to. I gotta call him, and that was and then my daughter's vehicle. That's why I wasn't able to run down to. I had to use Tawana's and didn't really want to because I wouldn't take that on a long trip down there. Down here to take my little test or whatever. At least I'm close enough to somewhere where I'll get reception in and out enough and not be so far away. Out there, whew, you're yeah, I'm not doing that. And it ain't like it was back in the, 70s and 80s and stuff where pardon me, where you just get and people are just mowing well, praise the good Lord. I believe that might be you. God, I love you so much, Millie. What a blessing. Those songs were awesome. Where people are pulling over to help you all out and just fall over yourself. You got to be careful. I had a neighbor down here. Then I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I had a neighbor down here that helped these two young ladies out, and he set his pistol down just for a second, and they one of them took it and shot and killed him, and then they robbed him, and it was a long time ago. I think they were all whacked out on not just well, they were just whacked out. Period. If we know that, but just crazy. That's why everybody should be have a little pea shooter. You don't even you don't even have to those little those XDSs are fucking filthy little suckers. Oh, what a blessing! And then there's old Frank. I love Frank. He's so awesome. And before I get off track, because it's gonna happen, I'm burning up my time, people. I want you to know I love you so much. That's what's happening. I'm burning up my whole deal. They had to have an intervention on me, a small little intervention. I told you the other day. I just didn't say that because you'd think I was over this whole love affair with with you people, my beloved bride. Gosh, I can't wait, sweetie. But then that's what it is because we're all looking out for the who we're becoming anyway. So we're all in this together. But they had to go and say and then again, and they're doing it and bless their hearts. Oh, bless their hearts because they know that how it is to not have it, and so when you don't, and then it comes to an abrupt end, then I will soon enough. That's why but I just want to let you know that I'm going to have to probably talk a little fast. I looked at what I looked for the first time, other than just a couple glances when Donnie was showing me when we first set this up on how this all works on his phone. On he goes, here, you want to look like what it looks like other than through your little this little. I told you, Dad, you need to get a new computer. But I wear them out till I'll just wear them till they fall off me. But I get those ASICs, so it don't matter anyway. If I'm going to pay for shoes, I'm going to buy them new, and they're going to be I might do secondhand clothes and wash the crap out of them, but I will never do secondhand shoes, and I'll wear them till they. So he uh, uh, he showed me on his phone, and oh, wow, I was like, man, are you serious? It's like, jeez, I can actually see. He's like, now, not everybody not everybody can do that. I said, man, get out of here. He's so funny. Um, so I gotta get moving, and I said that because I remembered how fast it seemed like I was moving. I said, are you sure you're not hyped up on? Is there a button that you pushed and it's like when you mess with the record player back in the from 40 33 to 45 to what was it? The other ones are the I remember the big thick ones, but you can change. There's a few other settings, and he's laughing at me. And I said, "Hey, dude," and so there, I'm really gonna be bent if I have to put the heat under this next one because I want to get some stuff done. There's a lot of amazing stuff that happens in Redding, in Shasta County, and I'm gonna have like I said, I'm gonna have a hard time because I don't remember, and I mean, it's not that I don't remember. I literally I just go back there as I go back there, and I kind of remember stuff that I do remember stuff, but and that's why because there's so much. That's why I get off track, people. I apologize. My heart really isn't. You'd be like, "Are you serious?" We would be just, oh man. You think, oh man, we definitely have no time for even the first chapter, people. We would still be at Astroland. Oh, which I looked up on my phone for the first time. I'm like, oh, that did go all the way up and around, and it did go down. Like I said, my brother and Forrest used to climb on the outside of that damn thing and make me scared. Of course, there was weirdos everywhere in there too, but you had to watch out for, man. There was just they were all over. So anyway, I'm gonna just I got to get moving here because otherwise, and talking fast. So there's that. So no jerky. I'm not sending you footy jerky, baby. I wouldn't do that. Just please get a hold of me. I know I'm being patient, Tori. I am. Melly, I love you. I'm being patient. I am being patient. I mean, look at the one who's really trying to put the. Oh man, I could show you something funny. Talk about being patient. Something that they sent me from the government today. That was in the mail Friday. They always send me stuff on Friday. Always on Friday. They want me to sit and. I apologize, man. My foot itches. I think that dog is bringing me in chiggers, man. Fleas, fleas. He slept with me last night, pushed me all off on the dang bed because his daddy is on that couch and he's pushing him off there. And I told him, look, you got that awesome blow up match. You just goes up and it's you can jump up and down on that. You could have a small little slumber party on that and it wouldn't pop it. It's a good one, but he's just and then his dog pushes him off, and when he gets tired of that, he comes and tries to do that with me, and it works. And so, yeah, let's see. What else do we have? I love you guys. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm so excited, boy, for eternity. Everybody's waking up to what's really going on, to what's really happening. Oh, yeah, I didn't put none of that stuff. It took me 2 washes to get all that stuff out of my hair, too, by the way. Tawana's laughing. Boy, she's been in a real good mood lately. But see, I'll take it, but I don't put too much stock in that for too long because I know her too well. I know her very well. That's why I love myself enough to appreciate and love her to give her the certain space and because if she's having a bad hair day, you're gonna be having a. I heard it once said, if you're having a bad day, I'm having a bad day. I heard a smelly tell another smelly this a cellmate. I thought to myself, well, it shouldn't really be that way, but Anyway, so I'm getting off track. I'm gonna have to probably start talking fast. I whipped up a good mean batch of coffee. I now know what people that actually have a good whatever he said, the 1080i PC3, whatever the heck he said. I didn't can do all this and that. And boy, he's just a trading little fool now and pulling it out and make him say, yeah, it cost me this much to pull it out, but look how many all those hundreds I made, and then this and that. And I'm like, dude, I got to stay focused on this. I got to stay focused on this because this is my deal right here. And so if I don't, and I'm not. So here, let's see, Lumina. Okay, radio. I'm crossing her off. Don't worry, Jess. I'm gonna. I love you, brother. I'm not kidding. I pick it up as I'm not just being a smart butt because I'm. Hey, look. I too can. If I can't laugh at myself, or at least you laughing at me, then I need to start laughing, right? People. Okay, let's see here. Alex, I remember I wrote that down because I got off and I heard now, Sonny Boy, you forgot to finish about Alex, the guy, the special guy, and Blindy. You were gonna because Blindy and Jerry and all them up on the hill and Melvin is his name, and he lived in same town, South Bend, Raymond as like I said, I remember Tommy, his dad, had buying that house years ago when we were young, way long time ago. He used to grow. I can tell you now, he's dead. Grow weed in there, long time ago because it was out, nobody around, tiny little, pardon me, town back then. There's that caffeine. That Christian crack doesn't do that to me. Tea doesn't do that to me. Boy, I drink it, and I try to time it just right. Now I had this little snafu. It's a huge conspiracy. Yeah, no, I know, right? Ah, that's funny. Yeah, it's not just a conspiracy. It's a walk down memory lane. Sometimes it's everything's just kind of being pieced together, and I'm like, wow, this is when I start to realize just how fortunate I am, and now I know I've have been just scathed death by just a fraction of definitely my I've been using those up, but I had no clue on just really how intricately woven this whole eternal prognosis, and it's looking good for us. Critical for them. Never did like them too much. I never did really, but had the poster guy in the straight jacket and stuff. But I thought they were kind of overrated even back then. But then I really never really cared for Twisted Sister. Sorry, you guys, but Dean Schneider and House of Hair, I will listen to that. But so now I don't want to get off. It's a huge. It's so big that you can lose weight on that just being thin. And when you go to get to Christmas dinner on that one, tofurkey. Okay, so let's see. Because man, that's really all you might want to eat when you find out what they're feeding those damn things. Those nasty little birds. They weren't, they used to be a time when, like I said, I'd go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Mm, trust it in a second. But they're all owned by, I'm not going to say it, that P Hole Co. And it's just no taco smell, all of it. They're all part of the same, pizza, all, and it's all basically the same. Okay, now let's see. Alex, he got on the bus one time when I was, and had many vehicles. So many that it's almost mind boggling just within a short amount of time there in Shasta County. Um, but I was in between vehicles. We were still in the motel, I know he had went to some program there in that county building down there by the welfare office in the count that other, because I was still on probation. I was still on. I had to do community service, and I don't know what it was. Didn't I say I would really try to ramp up on the O's? Something happened. And I can't quite remember what it was. It wasn't fuzzy. That's for sure. Um, I got transferred somehow, some way. Maybe it was something happened, but I started working at the thrift store. It was second time around. That's right. It was second time around, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail there. But let's just say the wife of the the co-owner of it second time around, because they were married, uh, and kind of second time around, you can fill in the blanks. A lot of people would donate, and a lot of elderly people, and a lot of nice stuff would come in. And I had been around more antiques even at that point, even though I was just still kind of, and always will be, I guess, cutting my teeth, at least, carnally cutting my teeth on them, because there's a lot to know. But a lot of stuff was coming in. I was like, wow. And so I was asking her, hey, like, and she's like, all right, I'll let you. And I didn't have the money right away. She goes, you just go ahead and put that in your locker and don't leave the store with it. And I never did. I never left the store with it because I didn't want her to go check the locker and see that I was lying to her. And I just didn't. I never was much of a liar, even if I was a thieving ass scoundrel. I didn't like to lie, especially looking at someone in someone's eyes. Lying to my. That's why my mom always used to come to me every damn time. But not that I was a rat or anything, but because she just knew that I would blew the goo when it came to, ollie ollie, I'll come for you. So I started putting this jewelry and up, and I got this piece that I found out later, and I brought it out to the Jolly Green. We'd sell a little here and there, and I think I was able to, because the alternator had, and that's what ended up going out um, in the Rover when we were doing some we were up in the mining pits, and it doesn't matter how four bind you can go up solid. People that know, when you get into loose gravel, especially gravel that has been mined in shillings, that is in stacked like you would want to see a nice weld from, like, my son. You ain't going anywhere, and I don't give a crap how nice your four-wheel drive is. You're not going anywhere. So I ended up messing up my deal. So every once in a while, I'd be able to juice up the battery enough to use that to ignite to get down. And I brought this jewelry out. People were buying. They were just, mostly the dealers, and paying me good money. And I was like, huh. And then this one piece, it got passed up one weekend, and I packed it all up because I wasn't adhering to Sabbath or anything. And even when I did, sometimes I would, because I was so dang addicted to the people and the selling and having fun. I didn't care, even the assholes, excuse my language, because it's not quite, Sabbath is not quite over, so I don't want to be, but I didn't mind any of them. I didn't care. I appreciated even them. I They were just part of life. And sometimes when you just treat, just, if you don't flip smooth out on them, and I don't do it for this reason, but it works. They just come back. They'll just say, you know what? And they'll just buy something. They'll just buy something. I've had people buy stuff from me. They say, I don't even know why I'm buying stuff from you. I'm serious, man. This happens more times than not. I don't know why I'm buying something from you, but I am. And I said, well, you know what? I'm happy you are, because I don't even think I made a whole lot of money on that, if you want to know the truth. And I think Mouthy would say, he didn't make any money on that. A matter of fact, I think and she might be right on that one piece, but I know I made a lot more on something else. So if I made somebody happy, and I know people, I know you can't do business like that completely, but I felt just like that kid that said, Mister, you're the nicest mister in the, stuff like that. It just makes it worth it. And I spent a lot of time on that, embellishing that, doing that mosaic on that piece. And I found that skull right over there in that old dump site over there. You could tell it'd been burnt before. I started digging it. You could tell all that whole forest over there also had been burnt. I could see it. You could see it. So I this one piece though was signed, and I had a real strong feeling about it, this real good feeling, but I didn't sell it, and I brought it in. And then the second weekend I brought it out, the same lady that was, I thought I'd recognized her from a jewelry store because I'd taken some pieces that I bought from there that I gave to Juana, this beetle that was beautiful beetle that I know is now, look, because I know a lot more now. I know exactly that was either Arizona. It was either Zuni or uh, Pueblo or some kind of Navajo piece or Mexican. You know, nice. It was a Baeta beetle, is what it was. It was a beetle. I didn't know that because I started getting hip to how they dyed their rugs. How they dyed that. That's why it's just because some bleed don't mean nothing. Doesn't mean anything. They had a hard time getting some natural dyes and stuff like that. So this beetle, if I'm understanding correctly, so what they did is they put a piece of coral in. Coral is hard, especially real good old, because they dye stuff now that you think it's just white stuff, but that old red stuff that's it's very sought after and rare, and this had it in it. And I didn't know that. He kept saying, "Hey, you want me to take that out? It's kind of I noticed it's a little loose." And I'm saying all this for a reason because I think it was her that ended up buying that piece. But anyway, I had said no, no, because I knew right away, right when he opened his dang trap, and I had taken him a lot of my stuff right downtown Reading, right there. He trusted me in his store. Of course, I'd never steal from him. He just left me in there with his safe and everything open and all that stuff, all his cases and stuff open because he didn't bother opening them. It was a little tiny deal, and he'd go over and get lunch, wait for his lunch that was already done and stuff. But he'd say, "Oh, here, just wait here." And of course, I could never do that. But boy, there was a time when he would never want to have done that with me. I'll tell you that. Not with me personally. For the minute, like I said, I feed something, it's over. It's over. Minute I know there's children there, they're going to Disneyland and blood will spill. so if you, so, and I know they're like, "What are you doing, Donnie?" I said, "Listen, I'm telling you, we're not taking that dang money. There's got to be $800 in there." I said, "Exactly. They're this much. They're almost there. That they might even be going after Christmas. Never know. They might have change in one of them damn presents you're not going to open either. You've got to be kidding me." So now that anyway, she bought that piece. You know what that was? That was a black opal, and I'm serious. It was probably at least 7 to 10 carats. I found out later. Because of that watch that I got from my cousin. I sold him. That I ended up getting without because I ain't glorifying nothing. And I sold it to him. And that thing he didn't even know, but he had in his safe because he likes his gold, boy, and he'll buy it up. That's what caused that issue between Rodney Jones and why there was a little animosity there when we did our greatest escape out of Mission Creek, Castle Rock. You're right. It's by Tootle River. You guys were probably in Tootle River. Oh, it was old Tootle, right? Um, Toodaloo. So Yeah, she bought that piece, and I found out when I took that watch in. He says, and I had some. A matter of fact, I had some antiques appraised from his Native American expert. This Navajo rug and some other stuff, and he showed me this piece of black opal not long after that, and I said, God, man, I was just kicking myself in the ass. And I knew, and all that jewelry, all that jewelry came in from the same lady. Kept bringing this jewelry in. This old lady, she just kept bringing it in, bringing it in. There was so much more, man. And I bought it. I bought it. I kept it in my locker till I got money, and then I bought it. And I bought it legitimately. It was mine. And that Tasco, I had this Tasco bracelet that was so filthy that it was a rare piece. That's when I started really getting into like bakelite, lucite, and all the different kinds of older plastics and stuff. And I know a bunch of other ones. I'm not going to sit and try to fish around for them, but not to impress you. But moving right along, and a lot of that was coming in too, and you can almost smell it. It has a formaldehyde smell. It'll burn your nose when you rub it. I used to use that scrubbing bubbles. That's why I say scrubbing bubbles in that tea bag sometimes when you because of Tim Kilmer tea bag. It was a joke when he was scrubbing in the buckets and scrubbing bubbles. That's why I say that nobody knows what that means. But I'm laughing at myself because I'm trolling the trolls. I'm salting the trolls. Why you don't? That's why, sweetheart, you have to be careful also. In its songs and certain things, I could be loving you up in one deal, and just because the Lord, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Just like last night when I just Tom Dooley just dropped my hand because I couldn't. I was like, oh my gosh, and he's like, yes, son, and with a very loving, very loving here, come here. It's all right, come on. He's like, I told you a long time ago, but you weren't getting it. And see, and just if I didn't know the truth, that guilt would just, if I didn't know the suffering that guilt had absorbed like a sponge. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Because once it's done, it's over with. But you just have to be, because he don't even know when it's time. It's time. That's why that's why that's unnumbered. Also, people, it's to keep us on our toes because he loves us. It's for our own good. You can have all that needed too, and in the situation we're in, you baptize yourself, or like he said, you get somebody that you trust. You put your faith in the good Lord, and if that's what you want to do, you baptize. Otherwise, you confess with your mouth, and that's how you get baptized. That's being baptized in the Holy Spirit. Remember, because he said, I'm gonna leave you a helper. He's definitely not coming back right this second to wash your feet this second. Now, oh Melly, I'll tell you, I'll do whatever. But that's not a reason for you to say to call me either before the 20th. So I got to get out there. I just got the mail. They just sent me that. Oh God, they sent me some stuff. I told you it was crazy. Okay, so let's see. Found out not long after that was just, and it was stamped. It was probably, honestly, it was probably a platinum piece. It was probably platinum because I had some platinum before that said Arid, and I had plat that said plate. I thought it was plate, but it was plat. And they just have certain ways of putting stuff in Arid. That iridium, that was oh gosh, I've had just, not to brag, it's just amazing some of the stuff the Lord started blessing me with. And just down at Epperson's when I bought that contact printer, it should be on my Facebook. I've got so many pictures on stuff, and I was only able to get so much on that flash drive when that Toshiba, the one I bought to and got the Dragon program downloaded on to do this story. Which, oh, can you imagine? I'd have been working on that, but it would have been, if it would have been dictating like I wanted it to. People would have been just, but it didn't want that. And here we go. We're having it. It's happening anyway. When you don't give up, and the Lord says, "Oh, you want to go ahead and exercise a little faith, do you? Well, I can really use that. I get good reports about you, sonny boy. I sure do, and about all these lioness down here, and all the you guys are really." You're really showing out. Oh, I feel that, man. Somebody's just slapping me up real good. What a beautiful thing. So anyway, there's that. We're in Reading. I see Alex on the bus. He gets on the bus. I know he's coming from one of them groups because I'd been to the Omni group with Dr. Mahoney before. Just because I didn't take medication and I was having a rough time, and I wanted to go and I do good in groups like that. I can talk to people and listen to people, and I'll sit and I'll listen for a little while and figure it out, And if somebody, I'll just flat out say you're full of shit right there. And it's just best if you just, because that's what we all need. We just need to be honest with each other, because that's why I'm here. And if you're gonna just bullshit me, I'm gonna let you know you're just because you're bullshitting these people, and we're trying to help each other. And you're wasting this man's time, and I'm trying to keep myself from getting locked up, because I do stupid stuff. Stupid is as stupid does, and Steen stinking thinking, and so I'm already in trouble because I needed to get my annual fix from the my surrogate, dysfunctional human meat market of a harlot, the judiciary system. So I go in there and I just do dumb stuff. They didn't even have to. I think they walked me across the street. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think they had to. So, the craziest thing I've yeah, just laugh it up now. Just laugh it up, Chucky. No, that's what I do too because it was just the stupid ass move. But when I got out there, they were the whole damn weekend. I love you, Melly, but it's okay. We got you through it. You're out, and it's over. Just like that DC thing. Oh man, I wanted to tell you no. Now, if we were like that, I would have tried to put my foot down. Then I would have said, "No, I don't want you to do that." I would have. Now, if you didn't, then what was I going to do? I wasn't going to try to stop you. I would only do that if I knew you was an extreme imminent danger, right? Immediate. I that still was an issue, but the Lord said, "Let's just do you because that's going to look real crazy right now." And that's how the old f this and f that. When I said, "Oh, the old B word, huh?" Oh, Miss T, and I'm not. But and then you went and tried to kind of test it. God, yeah, I love you guys so much. No, you're not. Mm, what's that? Back in, back in Nam. Oh, the rooster. Oh, you guys are slick. Back in Nam. That's right. Back in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. These poor sons of bitches. I know so many people that got juiced. Got us, they got so juiced over that whole damn narrative. Anyway, so we got to stay focused. We can't go to Nam right now, even though it was a beautiful place at one time. A lot of the God, that ancient orange got a lot of people that I know. A lot of people. So just bunch of big, it was a multifaceted agenda, just like all work and no play, and the twin jokes, and oh Jesus, Lord have mercy. When I said let's build, you made us believe. I didn't make you believe anything. I myself couldn't believe what I was seeing. Are you kidding me? Just keep praying. All right, Father, just do what I ask you to do. Okay, Father. Because you see already what you've been seeing, right? Yes, and I started seeing stuff that you're all gonna see it. You're gonna be like, oh my goodness, man, that's exactly why I'd be on the straight and narrow too. That's why I don't mess around. I don't cheat. I don't even get caught looking at pornography. Are you kidding me? It'd be my luck. He'd be coming down. Might have that little thing in my hand. It'd be over. That thing just might as well just melt right off, right there. Oh no, no. Try to pick that up with your mouth, boy. God, talk about Yeah, that's why you got to be careful, especially when you've been, you got to be very, and after a while it just gets easy with time. It just gets easier. You can look at somebody and she could be just trying to seduce you right there. You just can go, oh. And then you start going, oh Lord, have mercy, and then you see how severe it is and just how important you really are. Because why would you spend so much time on me if you were, well, huh? Lord says, well, that's because you have no clue who you're becoming, just like all these people. They want something that they can't have if you don't let them, and you'll just keep getting things that they want, and it'll either be conversion or it'll be smoking Joe Frazier, and just like that's it. So you just keep being a good boy and you keep just like at the bite. Just like at the bite, I had to walk around like this because I swear, when I said that, and I think you said, good for you, Roy, good for you. I think it was you, Millie, or somebody there. I don't even think Ashley was still there. I don't think Ashley Beckford was there. God, that just pissed me off. Excuse my language, because I think it's almost. That's right, you get him, Mama. My daughter. Because somebody's got to do it. Sorry, I don't mean to block my face like that. I'm trying to stay, you know, focused on you guys and stare this way. Plus, the windows, I've had it shut. So, what am I going to look out, right? I mean, this is for real. I don't. Okay, that's right. Because she knows she's had that baby girl and she knows that she needs to straighten that boy out because you've been nice to him, too nice. And now he's been trying to run the show. And I got there's a new program. Okay, we're going to, in process, in venue, new in proceeding. Okay, weed harv. Oh yeah. So he gets on the bus. He gets on the bus. I knew he had just gotten out of one of them deals, and this is my opportunity. I had some candy, those little candy, the mint deals where they have the big wide mouth that you open on one side, and then if you want to share, and then if you just want to, you just shake it. Well, I'm a glutton when it comes to stuff like that, and I know now I wouldn't even eat them things. It was mostly aspartame. Here, look, these don't even have sugar. I'm like, oh great, because I was getting off the doing the cancer kick, right? And the aspartame's worse. So, did I just say that? I should have tried to code that. Are you serious, Roy? Did you actually say you're going to code that in? Do a little Morocco Mullen? Because you don't even really have to with that. But oh, bad! It's in everything. And so I'm not shaking anything. I'm gobbling up like a little clown trying to walk a tightrope. And they get on the bus. I'm thinking, oh, this is my opportunity, man. I can make this right because all I've been doing is carrying that around since I tried to brush him off there at the shelter when he was trying to get a bite to eat. And all I was trying to do is get a bite to eat. My impatient butt was just all it was mad because it couldn't find no weed. And that was really the gist of it or gist of it. And I got to get some more coffee. God, I wish I gargoyle. Um, Oh man, we're at 43 minutes and I've already babbled off this much time. Oh people, you guys are worth it. I'm gonna get some more coffee. I'll be right back. My son just said, an hour already, huh, Dad? Because he could hear me. And I'm like, mm-hmm. Already an hour. How time flies. Almost we just rounded off to the. Some people always do it. There's a few people down the hall that try to always round it that way. I'm like, no, it's that way. We round it off that way. That way you're safe. You know what I mean? We're not playing that crap no more. We're done with that kind of lifestyle. I'm sick of that. Heck no, I want to be able to. I like to. You know how long I've had that? And I'm not trying to brag. In my pocket, the same dang from when I sent that off, sweetie. To oh, hi. Oh, I see. Oh, and let's see, Mr. L. Before I, there was something about Mr. L. Mr. L. There was something I was gonna say. Something about something you said. Just I got a bits and pieces. I try not to, like I said today. I try to study and do stuff, and I had to study that whole book. I just decided instead of doing a little test because I have to pass this driving test, otherwise it's going to cost me a lot of money just going. I'll end up just. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to get it. But after I'm like, I might as well just read the whole book. So that's what I've been doing. It's taken me hours today. And so I said, Lord, please, what do I do? Should I be reading the Bible? Should I mean? He goes, look, you need to get that. You need to get that going. You got to get moving. That's right, sweetie. I do. I know. Whew, that's some hot, hot cafe. Okay, so and he gets on the bus. I was like, this is my opportunity. My hair really isn't this thick. I'm serious. It's just poofed out. um, I wish it was in some ways. I heard that, boy. I heard that. That was very rude. Um, I do love having him here though, because I had a snafu with my camera. Oh, it was a slick little situation they did here. Yes, they did. I'm starting to see it clearly now that the rain is falling. Gets on the bus, and I'm thinking, yeah, just like with that girl, I was almost like, God, please, just. And then part of me was like, well, this is my opportunity and we'll see where he sits. Well, you know how I like to sit in the back. I've always sat in the back of the bus. That's just where I've sat. Always. That's just me. And sometimes sweating like a slave in Debo's pigeon coop because the motor's right there. And it could be 90 degrees, but I'm there. I'm there in the back, and you could open the windows further if you knew how. And where else are you going to smoke, right? So, um, yeah, I know I was a bad, bad, bad boy. Um, but it wasn't cigarettes, of course. I would only smoke them when I was drinking. It was only a few, and then God, the next day, man, when I was hungover, I knew I had nicotine poison. Ugh, I was just a mess. He sits right next to me. Basically, he might as well. Nobody else in the back. He sits. I'm heading up Cypress. They walk right on through, right there by oh man, right on by the river there. They get on right by the DMV almost. Go over the bridge. The grandmother's house we go. And I'm heading to the mall, I think, to go just I don't know, just probably get out of the motel. It's a beautiful day, or just walk around or do something. Can't remember where I was heading. It was in between my wills, so I know I was on the bus. He sits down next to me. I if I didn't know and everything, I would have kind of got a little uncomfortable and moved closer to the window that I was already up against. But so I said, "Hey, Alex," and he goes, "Hey," and and I says, and it's his friend steadily been talking to him the whole time, and he gets his attention. He goes, "Just act like it's like it's water off your back, like it's water off your back." That's what he said. Um, and I could tell he was. I kind of picked up what was going on, that it was something that happened in one of the group meetings that that bothered him, that his friend that was also handy, he was mentally retarded, and he says, oh, just act like it's water off your back. And without missing a beat, he says, Um, he says, God says that um, that we're the something about. Oh no, no, he said no. He didn't say so. He said salt over your shoulder. He says just act like it's just salt over your shoulder. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was salt over your shoulder. And he said without missing a beat. He said, God said, we're the salt of the earth, just like that. And he looked right back at me and I says, hi, Alex, because he didn't even lose because he'd already lost. And he said, hi, like he'd remembered me from that, from in line with him. And I remembered him around where I went to groups there, not for very long because I just, I just stopped going. And I had to go to other groups also, the groups up off of, whatchamacallit, because I was still getting having to get my license back and doing community service because this wasn't just something that was happening overnight. Although in California they were very extremely lenient. I'm going to have to say too lenient. Might never hear me say that about anything, but they were almost too lenient. They had classes and stuff like that, but it was all just people. Most everybody just bullshitted their way through the whole damn thing. It was you can't. So, but that's because most everybody there, also the officials, were getting. How would they look if they were getting DUIs? They were getting. I'm sure they were getting pulled over, not DUIs, but some of them down low enough rung where I don't know something was going on because it wasn't very strict. I'll tell you that right now. And so he pried one of them. I grabbed one because I was gonna put it in my mouth because I was gluttony back then. And I was happy because now it wasn't sugar, and the sugar's the one that feeds the kids. Because I was looking into the stuff and talking to other people that were, cancer survivors that were using medical marijuana to do that, and I also was praying, and I heard, well, first of all, you need to cut out the fast food and the soda. That's all. That's corn syrup. It's feeding that crap that's in your gut. That's exactly what it is. Because I was addicted to Pepsi. And at the same time, I'm moving that crap down. It's not fit for human consumption. Hurry up! We got to hurry up and get this truck unloaded. I'm kidding. It's a different time frame, but so he pries one out of the one I'm going to put in my mouth. He pries out of my finger, and I figured he would just go for the one because I had my hand open. I had one right here. I had my hand open, and I just had three things going on with one hand. And I reach over, and go, here, would you? And he's like, oh yeah, and he just pries it right out of my hand. He prized the one right out of my hand. Or why would that surprise you? He was mentally ill, but it was signified something for me. And when he said that, God says we're salt of the earth. When he said, yeah, it's salt, and I thought, that's kind of a, and I didn't really think about that term or have used that term, but I've heard, as water, as water rolls off the back of a duck. I've heard that before. But and then I think I've heard salt too, but I didn't. I My point is I've heard salt, but I didn't really know what it meant. And some people they I don't know if it's luck. I think I've heard later on as I went, it might be luck. But anyway, there he was. It gave me the opportunity, and I that was my way of saying I was sorry. To him, and the Lord told me, you're gonna this is gonna come right back around, and you're gonna have to deal with this now. You know that because you blew him off, and you blew him off, and he was right there for a reason. That was a test, not a temptation. There it was, and you blew it. So, and I wasn't salt is what it was. That's for dang sure. And I had lost my saltiness as I was going to stuff my greedy ass belly, excuse my language. And and then we're gonna get to that whole. Because, like I said, I forgot her name. My son would probably remember her name. She was brain fried from the meth, this new meth they're bringing in. They were bringing it in a long time ago, but now they're really refined and they're hyping it up, and it brings demons right in and just morals right out instantly. Um, but yeah, so this girl would let us stay with her, and I'll brush over this real quick. I forgot. Oh, I almost had it. It was right there. but she was really odd to the point, and bless her heart, because she knew in her, this is before Tawana came a long time ago. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I remember Alex there, and then I'll bounce back to now, back to when we're there at the deal. But this girl that brought us in, I brushed over it a little yesterday. She would have to have us out because she could get in trouble. She was on some kind of assistance, and her husband was constantly in that dang group, that shelter that was supposed to be a family shelter, but it was a big there was a big scam. It was a big scam. They didn't want families there. They didn't want anybody there that wasn't from there. They didn't. They only helped people really that were from there. Seriously, that's the only people. They didn't want you hanging around at all. They wanted you to move. They had absolutely, you could not camp anywhere if you didn't weren't on wheels, and then if they didn't like you and you got the wrong cop, then it was over anyway. So, and like I said, there was a lot of good officers there, a lot of young when I was there, a lot of young officers that had been in the military, just good people that, located there because there was a job there in Reading, and they were just doing what they needed to do, even if they might, my opinion might have been, they were just, brainwashed in a lot of areas. They were just good people just trying to, they always waved and stuff because I had my head shaved just like a, and that'll all come into play. I look like a little GI Joe with the kung fu grip. Uh, and God, if I still had those, or what about my Barbies? Shit. Oh man, seriously, some of them, whew, the one the oh, I'm gonna get off track. I stay on track. Well, anyway, so I was able to make that right. We're in the motel. The weed's almost done. I've been catching rides up that cobble to get up cobblestone, and I couldn't just bring anybody up there. Jerry didn't really care too much for that, and I was going to bring people up around because, like I said, there's Toby and all them people up there that you hear about, but you don't see, or you might see the backs of them, and you don't just go up and enter. You just there's just things you don't do, so you just kind of mind your own business. And not that he's ever went into my garden, but Jerry said, Roy, this is for you, because I helped Connie and Wes and Blindy, who ran his Harley just smack into a big tall guy, like I said, from Raymond, South Bend, ran his Harley right smack into a brick wall, and just he was just almost completely blind. He said he could see, like, but he was blind. He was considered blind, but this guy could get around. He could do mechanics. He could do stuff. And he had a wife named Angel, and she was also from there. And except Angel was a little witch, and not like I mean, she was a really sweet person. She just thought that she was a witch and really believed she was. But the sweetest woman you've ever seen. Oh yeah, well of course, chime right on in there. And so now that they did that, I want to brush over real quick on Honeybee about that again. And no, I'm not trying to. God, you guys are really just slapping me up with the prayers. I can feel it. Or something's happening. It's benefiting all of us. That I've known her the longest. That's the first live chat I've went on. That's why I wanted her to go back on because it's all just staled out. It's all stalled out, and she needs something to occupy her mind instead of being all cooped up like these little pieces of punkified, uh, you know, what do they call that? Copalite or whatever it is. They're just, uh, so she needs to be able to, and the Lord's leading me to do that for, because she did, look at, she went and tried to get everything straight and step out like that. Not a lot of people do that. They just have the same, thing. Not that I'm saying you should. I'm just saying that she had enough in her to go ahead and do that. And she was one of the ones back in the beginning, because that flat earth was the first place I ever went and was led to go on a live chat like that. That was it, other than Alex. And when I started coming into the full, and I didn't care, I was still going to go on there and do what the Lord wanted me to do. And he's like, yep, that's what you do exactly what I'm leading you. This is where I want you to go, and this is who I want you to. And then along the way, came little Miss Muffet and sat on my tuffet, and now I am completely still fully in love with this one. I thought that might have been a little chapstick. There it is. So, for you, sweetheart, for you, for us. That's why seek ye first the kingdom, and then so I can be, you can be number one, as I'll be would be number one in yours. That's how it is with husband and wife. You look at each other as number one, and then you become, when you seek ye first the kingdom. Also, that same way when we're in this under the same roof, whoever that might be, and I'm sure that's you. We still got to seek ye first the kingdom, and then we're going to be able to be number one for each other, and that'll just have kickbacks, and we'll be number one for ourselves. That's the whole trick right there. That's what most people think. It's about me. Read the Bible, read that old basic instructions. Okay, so back to Alex. So there was my opportunity. I'm about ready to harvest. That's right. Toby says, um, I think maybe it was Luke. Luther might have said so. One of them um, said that I had a male in there, and I had bought a couple clones, and this comes into play because I didn't know. I just know most of the people there, they all grew by seed because, they grow. Some of them were, I seen pictures and they were like 13 and 14 feet tall. And I said, what? Where? And I'm looking around and I'm like, well, where's the weed? I'm looking because I'm from here. I'm used to stuff that's grown in someone's garage and, barely only seen a few bud dills like the heist in North Tacoma. But so nothing like this. Those were even only, those were 4 or 5 feet tall. These were trees. I'm like, well, where are they? They go, well, it's right there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? What do you do? What do you cut them down? He says, well, either electric saw, and I've said, are you serious? Like, yeah, sometimes even the military, they'll try by and they'll look and they'll say, is that, when they're going for fires and stuff, and they'll go, is that because they know it's illegal. It's just not governed, federally governed. And is that weed? Because some of them don't know, because it's not fully budded out, and something that big, it's just you don't. They're like, yeah, you know what they're saying, at least in this one instance. And I think that was Hippie Mike that was telling me about that. Hippie Mike, he was another one of the dudes that I have a picture on that on my Facebook. It's that no, that was little Skylar. It was Blindy, Angel, in front of the tractor. That was up there. You'll see that on my Facebook if anybody cares to. And my son is stand up like that. That's where I got my old Danners. I wore those Danners into the ground. And that little rock deal, he has so many of those. That's just one of. But there's a bunch of people would come up and Hippie Mike. Anyway, I was just about ready to harvest. They told me I had or not ready to harvest. It was about ready to go into where they were declaring their sex, and most people grew from seed because they would just automatically just yield a what flag is that behind you? Oh, what flag is that? Oh man, that's a Chinese flag. What do you mean? Except actually I believe that one was made in the US. I believe that might be. But this is the flag. This is the flag you need to be more. This flag right here, this is a faith. This is the flag you need to concentrate more on. And right here, of course, we got the sword, and we're trying to defend this. You have a gut feeling? This, because this right here is the reason why all the other nations are in the pickle they're in, and this right here is one of the victims. That's why all the other nations are starving out now and dying off and this and that. Did you hear the little girl on my Facebook deal that was crying out? And she was just begging Yahweh. She was crying out, "Please, would you just heal our land?" Because it's a sad, sad situation. So, oh yeah, you want? Let's see. Oh yeah, this right here, our beloved flag, our beloved. Hold on, pardon me. Oh yeah, the gold standard. It's the gold standard right here, and then it's a trickle down effect. It's all just a trickle down effect. That's what we have here. We have a big pile of for a mess of yeah. So it reminds me of it's politicians, you faggots, get out of my way. I don't need to buy none of your gold chains today. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're one in a million. That's what you are. You're one in a million, baby. You're a shooting star. Faggots. That's all you are. You're just a bunch of fucking butt pirates. That's all you are. Shit eating butt pirates. That's all you are. And you got busted, slapped up, and now you want to ask me? Yeah. Well, here, there's a little something for you. And I apologize because I don't usually drop the F bomb, but that's just the way it's got to be right now. It's all the intent. And, sweetheart, oh, huh, yeah. hmm Anyway, so harvest time is not for a little while yet. Still pulling some some gold as it really pulling. I got so good. It's just like, remember the little dude with the picnic on the Christmas special? I think it was the same one with Mother Nature and Heat Miser, and the other one is the brothers, and he's like, Eureka! He knew if there was. I started getting literally that good at finding out, but I got tricked a few times from that old fake. I sat on that old. I, you might as well just have your mouth open, and them telling you, man, this is the gold standard. Just open up, and we're gonna shovel it right in. The old gold arch is just right in there. And do you know something? And I'm gonna. When I was in prison, oh yeah. Oh, if I could, I would, but I can't, Roy. Yeah, you liar. Here's the other thing. But look what's happening now. Huh? Look what's happening now. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you, Father, first of all, that they even had that lioness fortitude to continue to fight for me because they knew what was right. You know how awesome it was, and here now I'm, you know, gonna get too far ahead, but the chances of me getting her, she's one of the best appeal attorneys in the state, period. Probably in the country. One of the best. Yeah. And how I got her, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money. I didn't even, I went in with 60. I was trying to give 20 of that away. That was a good one, too, sweetheart. That was real good. Because they don't think I can do this on my own. I'm not. This is because I seek ye first the kingdom. That's why I'm still pursuing you until that time frame, until or whatever happens first. That's the thing. And I'm still gonna be there every day for until you don't, but I'll still be, don't worry, we're in this together, brother, sister, wifey, whatever it may be. Will be. Is that a country song? Whatever will be. That's right. It's a country song. I've heard it a couple times on this right here, when I had, because I could only get good radio stations when I was at large. Anyway, I don't want to go. Yeah, that's a song. That's a country song. Yeah, that's a country song. And I remember when I heard it, I thought of B. I thought about you. about bumblebee. I thought about pollination. I thought about life. I thought about something sweet. That's what just kept me going. I thought about. I'm not even going to say that, but I did. Oh, I did. I thought about. What do they have in that Disneyland thing? She said that old Sheila, and thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you so much because it gives even your son or someone like my son that's his age a perspective from his perspective because that's the way our heavenly Father wants it and is getting it. And you see how bold that was. You stood out and he decided to do that. It was bold. It's brilliant. It was magical. It could only have been. This could only have been. That's it. That's the only way. And then, well, no, you have to give yourself some credit too because you decided to to show face and I don't mean that in a dig wide. I mean that you just followed through. That's what we call show face. Show face is even calling. It's just doing something. And no, 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 don't read into that, sweetie. Please. That's why we need to get this over with so that you'll know. So that I can do what I need to do too. And thank you so much for sending that. So that was, how considerate. That was just as considerate as her doing that. And now other people, the way our heavenly Father wants it, he's getting what he wants, and will be done. Now people can see, even if they don't ever believe, they're going to eventually. And if they don't see these evil spirits dragging someone across the, because it's beyond that almost. It's just that you haven't quite been in that situation yet, where the combination is such where you are. Because I see it. Oh man, I see it. I feel it, man. They were trying to get me last night, but they already know. Yeah, you're right, Roy. Yeah, you're right. I don't. No, they don't mess with me too much anymore. They don't do that. Not too much. Yeah, that's why this is behind this, buddy. Because you need to start somewhere. You want to go ahead and heal this, you better heal this. You better make it. It has nothing to do with being a tree hugger. It has nothing to do with none of that. That's exactly what the Lord told me to tell you. If you don't like it, you can just punch it and send it back. That's what you can do. And I really wouldn't have done that, sweetie. I would have sent money. I would have sent about 30 of the little bit of money I got in my pocket with her to get us both some. I would have sent you a little small amount of some teriyaki, and then you'd have known. Once it's sealed up by then, like I said, I would have tried to even sneak a video, or I might even have prayed and asked the guy to let me in. He might have said, "I don't care. Go ahead. You can." Once that tape's on there, you ain't getting that off there. Not like that. Not in any way I know. Plus, I'm not a fucking weirdo anyway. God, the Lord would cut my tongue out of my mouth, slap me upside my head, and then make me, yeah, your rug. And to wipe your daily as you're being blessed every day as you're rolling your blessings over my still squirming carcass, just like that old raccoon. I didn't know skin would do that with salt when you're skinning something. Philip showed me that. I tell you, we ate that damn raccoon. Almost tore his fingers off. Right through welding gloves. Now I'm gonna get off track. I gotta stop. I really love those people though. I loved them. I love all people. All people, even that Hisham and his roommate, man, we ate stuff out of one big bowl. My doctor, just so many good people. Everybody's good people. They just do stupid shit like us, We just don't. We know, baby girl. We know. You don't have to worry about that either. I'm not a cheater. I don't do that. That's one thing you better get straight about me. If I haven't made it clear about how serious it is, I didn't even know. Oh, the Lord makes that so dang clear. If that can't be understood about us being the groom and him the bride, us being the bride and him the groom, then you might as well just jump in the water because you missed that boat altogether. And yeah, there's no swimming and helping you. There's no. That's you might as well just yeah. Hey Joe, I heard Joe shut your caught her down by the messing around. Yeah, so Still growing. Let's see. I gotta add that in there. Still growing. We're in the motel. There's some stuff. I'm picking. Still picking. Stuff is coming in. Some things happened there. I had to quit there too because there was something going on, and I don't want to tell you. I'll tell you when we get together if you want to know because it's not important. But yeah, you might already kind of know. Uh, it just and I was like, yeah, I can't do that. So and I even told my probation officer, who was a woman, she said, why now this is the second place? And I said, well, listen, this is what's going on. And I think they were friends or something because she ended up, I ended up going, a matter of fact, I think I ended up paying a fine or something and they just converted it to money or something happened. But that was that. That was the end of that one. Um, nope, nope, nope. I got shipped out to a to a oh man, I ended up going back at night and getting the stuff that was being donated there. I swear, because I couldn't stand the place. Because I figured it was all free anyway, and I it was a distribution place for. I know it was creepy, but I got to just tell you the truth. A distribution place for thrift stuff, thrift stores. It was right by Epperson's, not very far from Epperson's. It's probably still there as you go over the river, right by the golf course I used to golf at. Right by Epperson's, it was a distribution center for somewhere, and they sent me there, and I was sorting stuff. I was a sorter. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. And I caught one of the big old bikers that was in the body shop next door. I remember seeing some. I just knew. I knew they were going through the stuff. I knew they were. They were getting stuff for their grandkid. Yeah, they were stealing stuff too. So I was there. They didn't like that I was there, and I said, "Well, hey man, I seen you here myself." They didn't like that. They didn't know, and I didn't see them there. I just knew that they were there. They didn't like that because it was right next to on the same property, and they also had a track, RV little store, and a big old beautiful track actually for cars and stuff. And I told him, hey, listen here, man, my son. He said he couldn't because I had my son with me because I said you just stand right here. I'm gonna go up into this because they had a big old. I just would climb up in there and they were toys, mostly toys, because I'd take the stuff on the weekend and sell them. A lot of stuff was broke. People would just take their. They told me, "Hey, you can't do that," and I said, "Actually, I can." I said, "I work here," which I did. And they says, "Oh yeah," and I says, "Yeah, you don't remember?" And they went, "Huh, he does know that." And I said, "Yeah." And not only that, you guys have been taking stuff from here also. And they went, "Huh." Well, they wanted to kick my butt. That's what they really wanted to do that. Matter of fact, they weren't going to let me leave, and I had to, do things. And my son was. I told him, "You go sit in the car," and they thought I was going to leave all that stuff. And I said, "Oh, you're out of your damn minds." Here's some three big boys as my judge and witness. Of course, I'm not trying to brag or nothing. It was a little ballsy, but I knew, and I knew, and they knew, and they didn't know how I knew all this stuff. But I took everything anyway. I took everything out. I took every single thing I had, all because I dropped it out. I told him when I you catch this, so don't hit the ground. You put that in here, and then when we got a load, we're gonna be gone because if the cops should they just tell you to leave, and I would just you can be just dropping something off. What doesn't have nobody's name on it. It's stealing. Let's just call it what it is. But plus, I worked there anyway, and I could just have them call and I would probably just have lost my job because it wasn't a lie, and so really wasn't trespassing because it didn't say that I couldn't be there after hours. Just and a matter of fact, it didn't have any trespassing signs, and I made that a real big habit of mine of going into places that didn't have no trespassing signs because usually after I did, if they were on the side of the road, it didn't take long, and there was after because I found so much neat stuff in old abandoned places and. Whether they were abandoned or not, if I was in them for a while, or they'd say, "Hey, you can't be here," and then there would be no trespassing. But that was it. There was a no trespassing sign. I wouldn't go usually if there was, unless I was just outright stealing. But so I justified all that, to have my son there. But yeah, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "Dad, I can't believe it." And I was like, "Yeah," and they weren't trying to let me leave, but I got out of there, and and so so yeah. But I never went back there anyway. I never went back there, and and but yeah. So a matter of fact, those guys, I think they went out of business not long after that. But they had been there for a while. And they've been doing that for years. They probably had some kind. They probably were selling the stuff on eBay or something, because there was some nice stuff that would come through there, top of the line stuff. People would just decide not to, that they didn't want their children to have. So me and Wesley and Blindy and there we're feeding Tommy. This Tommy and his family come up from Oklahoma. I think I and he we were supposed to get that starter out. His big old hand, he couldn't get down in there. We were letting him come in and stay there because the shelter would kick him out. That's the other thing. Here, the one the wacky girl that would let me and Donnie stay there. That's why I said all that, not to go back and get caught up in her, but I was trying to weave in this info this segment so you could, because I'm gonna segue into this whole corruption in this shelter deal, because her husband was always in this. I was there for 5 years almost, and so this guy was always in there, and he was local, and she wasn't on dope, by the way, and I was real proud of her. She was just skitched. Her mind was fried. Her brain was singed. She was out to lunch, but real neat girl. Real neat young blonde girl, just completely just skitzed out of her mind. It was just, and she was gross. Oh, she was gross. But we had nowhere else to really go, and this is right before. And a matter of fact, she was one of the ones too. Her and whatchamacallit that introduced us to Jerry. That's how early it was. We must have been just. This was before. This must have been before Maui, even before met Joey. So that must have happened, or it was in between Joey or something, and maybe maybe his ex wife had a roommate in those two rooms, because it was a big place, and there was two separate rooms with a bathroom and everything. And so I can't, like I said, the chronological order might be a little shaky, but definitely all true, just like the some stuff you might look. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. God is my judge and witness. I might be a little off or a little or something, but it's not. My intent is, because I know, like I said, my tongue would cleave to the roof of my mouth and my head would probably explode. And like I said, I plan on reaping what I sow, and all, and I believe it just takes, it's just a twinkling in an eye, and that's it. Everything is, it's the beginning of the end and the end of the beginning. It just depends on who you are in that aspect. That's why I just stay ready. And it's been working all these years, so I'm not messing with it. And you guys already see why. The same reason why you are also, and this reason why you're being blessed. Heavenly. And don't worry, sweetheart, what you're gonna do about, don't worry, like I said, about the flowers and all that sweet. Don't worry about what you're gonna do for money and stuff. It's all gonna, and you might have to go without and a lot less, and who knows, you might get a lot more, because here's the fact of the matter. And now this is, again, I don't plan anything, and we can't cry over spilt milk, but what's done is done, and he can incorporate that and use that. And yes, we're getting the hand of grace. What a beautiful thing. And oh, what a beautiful thing it is to increase this banquet feast. And whoa, you guys are slamming me hard. Um, but the fact is that we kind of just, we make our own bed, and so now we have to, I'm still paying for things with my children that I wish I hadn't have done, and I can't do anything about it now. And they're and they're suffering. They're good. They're good young adults. Oh, they're considering the shit that I put them through. Oh man, and all the uprooting, and oh man, people. Oh, what a tragedy. What a mess. But they've turned out because I've had enough sense, and somebody had enough sense to pray over me and for me, and the Lord has plans and stuff, and we also have free will, and it's all just that balancing act, and He wants to see really, and yes, there's nothing that can separate us from His love, but there sure is some things we can do to just spit in His face. I've noticed that. Is it that famous thing? Yeah, that it says that buy stuff. Of course, I'm starting to get used to why. Here's the thing: if you want me to do all this to be famous, why don't you do this? Why don't you promote me, and then here you'll get famous too? Because that's really what's going to happen. You want to talk about famous Amos? Those that are first will be last, and those that are last will be first, and that's why I'm in the position I'm in, and that's why I'm going where I'm going, because I've been where I've been. I'm living in the moment, and doing it well. It's paving my future. It's which is eternal. It's just, and everything is all, it's all synonymously just kind of woven together. I'm getting a glimpse of that's the beauty of this whole obedient walk. It's not it's not that it's, I had bought in that lie too, people, that is going to be boring, and because like I said, I was that one. Come on, people, it's canny. Come on, there's more beer. They're like, man, we're heading to Denny's. I'm like, so am I, because I know so and so down there, and I'm getting can have all that. Also, people are just so. Yeah, you go ahead and promote me because it's gonna happen anyway, and you might as well just, like they say, every tongue, every knee. It's just today I choose to do it willfully. First thing, right off Jump Street, right off Jump Street. And once that happens, everything else just falls right into place beautifully, just like this. Oh man, you guys. Whew. So let's see. Now we're at. I'm gonna have to cut this at 2 hours. I just have to, because otherwise, like they said, Dad. Even she said, even she said, you know, you do know that you're not gonna. And I said, yeah, that's what they say. That's what they tell me. So, and I want to be able to watch. You tomorrow too for movie night. Oh man, man, much too much. That ACDC, they said it was a sewing machine. But I like to just Antichrist, Devil's Children, just to see what people are gonna say. You might as well just do it. But then there's some. Oh, there's some of those princes that are just, they got some dark, dark stuff. They did some evil, evil things to some real talented young. Oh man, talk about a long and winding road lead me to your door. Mm-hmm. The Abbey Road. Man, I can't believe he ended up dating her, April. She had a glass eye too. She was running with some scissors and tripped and fell. Like my buddy used to take it out. Here's looking at you. Remember Stucky, Butch Stucky, with Junebug and old Dougie Fresh? She was running, tripped and fell. Was holding him the wrong way. That's why I always teach him just this. You see how I'm holding this knife and I'm handing it? Do you see this? Mama, do you see how that's supposed to be? My daughter, do you see how those handles are supposed to be? Why are they this way? Turn them around. See how he's running? Now he's tall enough. You didn't, and that would have been a divot in his head, man. That would have sunk right into his skull. It would have went right. It would have damaged his his skull. You got to think about. I don't know. You could just not. bragging. It's just I'm just in on that stuff. And Florentine, we'll get to him soon. He was also another prophet, Mexican guy I had to bring in to save me, dogs. I don't want to get too far ahead because then I'm gonna go. Okay, so I'm at the motel. Let's see. I don't want to miss too much persimmon tree. I was gonna dry them out. Victoria. That place was completely empty, by the way. Because nobody wanted to go there. They couldn't have anybody. Are you serious? She's going to ruin their high. She was not having this one. Mm-mm. No, she was not having it. And but I hadn't really. I remember I said yesterday I went down to Sac to sell because I hadn't quite gotten down far enough to sell yet because I wasn't in yet enough into Shasta County yet to start doing that. Hadn't even started the candy company at all, which wasn't even legitimate. But I was running it like it was legitimate. Well, no, I wasn't. I was, but I wasn't. But we'll get to that. You know what's nuts too? I actually had some of Stewart's meats that I left out, and we were making tacos, and we went out to feed the cattle out there. It was on God's way. When we came back in, there's so many flies because I didn't have screens or anything, and I just loved the weather. I loved it. I liked the heat. The heat didn't bother me. And they had maggots, had laid, and they were tiny little things. And I said, stop. Don't eat those." And we just for a minute, it was carne asada. She just got to whipping that up. We had some jerky that we were nibbling on. Had just come back from. I had just bought in the Pinot. That's right, the red Pinot. See, I don't want to get too far now. I'm gonna start being a flick snitch, and but I wanted to let you know about that meat. Whew, it only took us. It didn't take long. We weren't out there very long. Just man, those flies, they were on it quick. Um. So yeah, we're still in the motel. Cecilia, of course, she's going to Cyprus. And what else was going on around there? That's right. She was working full time at the Taco Bell, making a lot of friends. I made friends with uh, James, who was Florentine's dad, another big old Mexican kid, real nice kid. Um, Dating one of Tawana. They both worked at flea at the Taco Bell. Wow, you guys are slapping me up good with these prayers. Something's going on because this happens when I'm with you guys doing this with you guys, and it just whew, I just get so high in the Holy Spirit. It's incredible, edible. Pardon me. So yeah, I end up harvesting. That's what I do. I end up harvesting. I'd end up getting international harvesting too, but harvest. I had already gotten diagnosed basically without the diagnosis. He said without a biopsy, but from what I'm seeing, I've seen this before. But I wasn't going in. I started researching stuff. Got a 215. Blah blah blah. Got Jerry's like, yeah, you can grow here, but you can only do this much. I didn't understand why. It didn't take long to figure out why, because people will want to slaughter you for a lot less. And he figured he never even told me this, and to this day he didn't tell me this, but he knew he wouldn't have to if I was going to stick around long enough or be one of them fly by night people. Because man, people, with all due respect, it's a lot, potentially $1 million. Really, I'm not kidding you. $1 million if you was to do it right. 99 plants at what? 13, 14 feet tall, 19. One was a record. I think 23, he told me. 4 to 6 pounds I was getting off a dry off one plant. We're not talking 2 to 3 ounces, 4 ounces, 5 ounces off it. No, we're talking pounds. if it's done right. Especially when they love old Papa, and those things are, whew, they're showing out, showing off. So it can be, you can see what I'm talking about. Just, but then you had to bring, anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I'm going to be rolling over this whole thing. So anyway, I only had a few. He only let me have, and one I had to pull because they seen and they never went into my garden. That's where I was talking about that Toby and Luke and all them. They stayed out. He said, "You put a fence around there, nobody here will, you know." But he said, "Roy, they came and they looked because you're growing here." And even though I had my Prop 215 propped up and the helicopters, they aren't going over yet because they aren't even fully budded yet. And they're not, they see a little garden like that, they're laughing. They're making sure these people aren't won over because the government will be on their butt, so they say. So Shasta County's flying over. They're counting them and they make sure you're 99 or under. And so they just probably flew right past his deal. But you could hear him. You could hear him. That's all they did. That's all they did. You could hear him flying around. And then the planes were doing the traffic on I-5, but they were always flying around. I knew exactly where they parked that helicopter. They ended up moving that once they knew people found out. But they would count and fly right over his because it was just some little. Well, they said, listen, they never went into my garden. They had enough respect, but they knew that that was that was a male, and that would have could have wiped everybody out just in that little area. And I'll tell you some dirty little tricks that people used to little treat cheap tricks. You want to talk about, and it wasn't flame. You didn't want to start this kind of flame, and then we're. And I told you about that arson that I was right next to too. That ended up burning Shasta. Those big burns twice. Arson. I'm telling you, it's just, there's stuff going on you wouldn't. And we're not talking just demonic. A lot of demonic stuff they call mental health, but it's all being choreographed. When those stuffs are on those manzanita or any kind of those jigger pines or any of those pines, stuff burns like you wouldn't believe. Um, but then I'm getting way too far ahead. So, I say I was going to say more ums. Well, see, I'm making good. I'm going to have to shut this down here. Oh, 37. He told me to look at it, baby. I just can amuse myself so easily. I'm a cheap date. I'm a cheap date. He brings him McDonald's. Garbage. Brings him McDonald's. Oh, it's got meat. It's hamburger. Like so much you wouldn't believe. There's no way you'd be able to. It's all mocking. They just want you to, but there's enough to worry. So he said, "Look, you're gonna have to pull this one," and I didn't even hesitate because I trusted him. He was letting me, and I went back down. I told him, "Yeah, I had to pull that big one, because she's in the picture now." And she's like, of course, she's like, she's already counting stuff. Probably figure she's never even seen this stuff before on this scale like that, other than what I had when I wiped out. What was his name? Russ. His name was Russ. His name was Russell, the fireman, because I got to know all his neighbors so I could find out exactly what was going on, that he was a fireman. Because I smelt that all the way down when I was in the Red Maple. And I smelt that stuff and I said, "Oh man, somebody's got something in my." She said, "Man, that's probably skunk cabbage." You know how many times I said, And I sniffed that out and I radared it all out. And when I found out, I couldn't see, but I knew it was coming from. I pinpointed in North Tacoma on North 14. We were on Red Maple, which is right on the other side, right by where Cecilia was born. This was right before she was born. She was still pregnant with Cecilia. And it was like 4 blocks away, not far from where she was at Tacoma General. Same place I had the surgery for that little simple little rear end. And when I took my eyes off Yeshua for just a second, which we're becoming, by the way. And I'm going to back up just a little bit, and let you know, just so you know how that this worked. Not to brag, to let you know. And all those houses that are carpet bombed, they're just literally within feet of each other. And I knew where that was coming from. And I found out from the neighbors enough to I might even done some work there while he was gone, so that those neighbors knew I belonged there, or believed that's where I belonged. Oh yeah, yeah, old Russ. I told you, little old Rosie. They called him Rosie. Um, was um, the one that sold the fake heroin. He was in prison, and his mom was tribal. I got him to help me do some yard work too. There, that he was the one I said that, and I wasn't going to go into detail. Well, uh, he ended up getting a lot of time, and I seen her on the bus. But my point is I went through all that because I knew something told me. So that was the only time I'd ever seen, and I had to traverse up the side of the dang deal to get up on a window that was completely, because I had learned this stuff as a little kid, stealing heroin for these bikers. And that window, he would never, and he was gone for days at a time, and that stuff was so close to harvest. And all these were clones, because you ain't gonna waste that kind of time, unless you go from clone. And like I said, they were only 5 feet tall. But this one was a female. This one was a seed, and a lot of people there grew from seed. And if they had 99, so if some half of them even went to were male, you just would pull them anyway. It was a not much of a crapshoot when you're getting so many pounds. You're going cuckoo over cocoa puffs because you can't process it. You can't not only process it, you can't process it. It's just becoming, just you've wasted all your effort. So you have to bring people in, and you got to, can you trust people, so again, I don't want to go too far ahead, but um uh let's see, where was I going with oh yeah, his mom lived in that red maple too, by the way. um Look, I'm really ramping up the ums, doing a great job. So he said, "You need to pull that," and I trusted him. I trusted that guy. I knew, and I knew. I said, "Absolutely." I went over there, and he goes, "Well, put a bag over it first, just in case." And there hadn't even been no male pods, and I was learning a whole lot. And I started to complain. I think I might have mentioned this a little bit. I might have complained just a little bit. And he looked at me, and he goes, "Roy," and he's an older fella. He said, "Roy," he said, "you're gonna have plenty there." Because I was kind of acting greedy, and I was like, "Man, well, this is gonna mean the less, and I need mean less I'm gonna have." And I already knew there was people up north I could sell this to, and it was still illegal. And I was almost certain I was gonna get 3,200 a pound. And he's like, and I didn't know how much I was gonna get. And I'm hearing stories, and people I'm meeting, they're telling me all these stories of just hundreds of pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'll be able to get this, and this. And, I'm dreaming kind of like some people do, just sitting in there, that Lumina. Well, now he's got his own, of course, I've been driving that for, now for a year. He's got his own little deal since they've been kind of, but boy, he can sure get her pregnant. Uh, So I know, how does he get off like that? I'm trying to. I didn't even mean to do that. That wasn't even a happy accident. God, I hope she just, please, baby girl. Oh Lord, have mercy. It'd be different if it was a unit and it was tight and it was, the times were different and things were, God. So anyway, I pull that thing out of there like it ain't nothing. Oh, just bleachers, right? And he's looking at me, "Don't worry about it. You're going to get, there'll be plenty on what you have left." And those are all females. They looked, and nobody had to go inside. And then nobody went inside your garden. Well, it was set, there's only a few plants. It wasn't that big of a little garden. They could see from they have a trained eye. And I had a few clones in there. I had a few that I bought from a guy from Jolly. green because everything, it was starting to be legal, and there was clubs starting to pop up. It wasn't just a delivery service. Like I said, I remember when the first one. A matter of fact, there was so many in town, it was ridiculous. By the time I left, they started closed out. But I was there, like I said, 4 or 5 years. But that first one what rolled into town, they just started springing up like you wouldn't believe, and that candy business just took off for me. So much that, but I'm getting a little too far ahead. So I end up harvesting, making a bunch of friends. I think Tawana ends up starting a course. Oh no, she didn't start Shasta County yet, Shasta College yet. Yeah, there's so much that went on. There's so much that went on in that small span of time that I it still boggles my mind. I honestly, I really wish I had have known. But how would you have known? Well, the Lord just said, "Well, you did, and He did just that quick." Bam. What do you mean? I'd say I've been sending you right down the road here. So go ahead, touche yourself right down the road. There's one sent you that angel right there in the form of a game warden, right there in that same outfit it's tried to groom you to hate. Of course, yeah, it's gotten way corrupt now, but it's not about that. You've got to come to that themselves. It's the system, just like it's not the Catholics. It's the system. But once you come to that, and people are gonna stand. They're not gonna stand naked. They're not gonna be. That's why I shared that. The Lord had me. He wanted me to share that today about with Trey. You share that again because I watched that as I read some scripture verse, and I took it because that's what He wanted me to share, and I've shared that before. But I'm thinking that kind of seems like maybe a little abrasive, maybe a little pushy. And He's like, "No, you run what I'm having you run. You don't worry about it. There's somebody in there that needs to hear this." And I'm like, "Yeah, but." And He's like, but nothing. It doesn't matter. Your friends are gonna think whatever they're gonna think." And I say, "Yeah, but what about if two, or what about if Millie or one of them think that?" And I say, "That's not for you. This is not. You ain't getting that memo yet. So you just do what you need to do." So that's what I'm doing. Now we're almost at 2:47. You wanted me to look. There's always that 7 right there. Always, it's always right there to 4 to just assist me along. That she taught me. I was actually her husband. I thought so. I had to stop getting that tutelage, but I thought something was. But once you follow through, when you're do it golfing, it's almost effortless when you really make contact with that ball. At least when it's referring to golf. I had a good time down there in that driving range, and I just it was almost like for me, the less I tried, the better performance I was able to. Once it was just like today when I was like, well, I was in the tub and I pulled the cap off the disposable razors, which I don't like to use, but got to try to be thrifty. And I just effortlessly just, and it just go right in every time, and it always has. Even when I was a young man, a child growing up, when I do something just effortlessly, when I sit and I try to think about it too long, for me anyway, it just especially when it has something to do with my motor skills. At least that's what I'm. And today, twice right in a row, just bam. I'm like, man, this stuff just some things just never change. So, sure enough, man, I couldn't go up there for a while. Some things had transpired. I had to, something was going on, and oh god, I think she's home. Oh god, I'm getting scared. No, I'm just kidding, but I really think she is home. Some things transpired. I wasn't. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That blonde lady. Because everybody was in season. That's right. It was hard. It was everybody was budding, and people up on cobblestone. Most of the people up there. I'll be done in a minute. Up on. Uh, uh, I'm uh I'm invited up there and stuff, but uh I had to be parked, dropped off at the bottom, and walk all the way up that road because everybody that lived there, basically, even if they were, there was a sheriff that was up there, a Shasta County sheriff up there. Him and his wife, they grew up. Everybody, that's how people made their money, and so you just didn't want to just be walking up the road, and or just having strange vehicles up there. That's what it was. And there was one way, so we honored that, and I just walk up. People just, whether I didn't wave or nothing. I just minded my own, kept my eyes on my own paper like I was instructed. I went up there and took care of my garden. I didn't get up there for a while. That's the reason I'm saying all that. And couldn't get up there for a while. And word got sent down. I think it was Wesley from the park. He word got sent. Hey, you need to go and and check your stuff. And I kind of panicked. I thought something happened. Roy, you need to go to. And I was like, all right, hold on. And I said, well, here, give me. And he actually he gave me a ride up there because he could go up there. And Wesley, and or Blindy, or which Angel would be driving. Um, or old hippie Mike, which was mostly on his motorcycle. This little old dog on the tank. Um, but and he stayed at Luther's most of the time. I think it was Luke that had the 26 footer. I think he was the one. Anyway, stocks like that big around. I'm serious. These are like trees. So it was a. I've never seen anything like it. Um. So. Uh. Where was I? Because I just got brain farted. Oh yeah, going up the. So I go up there. We go up there. Me and Wes. Connie's at home with Lucky, little Lucky, where we had stayed, me and Donnie, before when I'd first gotten there. And like I said, I was just right across. It was the thrift store was right there. The thrift store. Matter of fact, I worked at that thrift store too. I sure did. I did work at that thrift store, that Salvation Army. I did. I did see a putty tat. I did work there. His trailer park I stayed at with him and Connie and me and Donnie matter of fact, his backyard was the part of that fence, and then I would just walk to the county deal for the doing the working out in the garden for the because it was a big county garden. The cops would run it. Like I said, that's where I got the bike and stuff. But also the thrift store was right there, and I worked there a little bit also for just not very long. See, I've forgotten so much. I've forgotten so much I need to remember, but whatever. So let's see. Wesley, so I get out of the van. Hey Roy, how you doing? I give him a hug. Big old bear, big. He's a big, awesome, beautiful man. Big old long beard, just long old hair, just the neatest man. Biggest giant, just a giant bear of a man. Just awesome, neat guy, really neat fella, really neat, beloved soul. Um, and hi Roy, Skylar, he's running around playing and matter of fact, he had electricity, but I think he ended up getting he got electricity for Skylar. Once he got Skylar, that's what he did. That's right. That's what he did. So he called him his little fat baby. He wasn't he was an older man. He wasn't, probably and all his children were older and like Beauregard, big old Bull. Boy, that was a big boy. Uh, um, he wasn't, he was a good father, but he just, there wasn't a lot for Skylar to do. So you could just see Skylar would just cling to anybody. He just wanted to, be a little boy, and just so he had electricity up there, so he could watch VCR movies. Is what it was. He could watch stuff, but he just, hey Roy, like he'd won the lotto, and and so he goes, hey Roy, uh, he said something that kind of made me feel guilty a little bit. It was something he was being a smartass, is what it was. And Jerry's not a smartass. He wasn't. He actually, he didn't say a whole lot, but what he did say, I mean, I learned so much from him, I couldn't believe it, man. It's like he did say a whole lot just by being around him. It was, and yes, I'm gonna make it 2 hours because she's in one of those. I can tell she looked in on me, and it was one of, like, what? I'm speaking to my family, and what a walking. Um, But I'm not doing that just to cut it off like that. It's just that it's just time, and I see she just strolled in, and so see, this is for a reason. So don't worry, sweetheart. Don't worry. I don't, and I don't pick them. I don't do all that. I let the Lord do my stuff like that, and But then again, I'm not a doormat either. So, and I do. I when it comes right down to it, I'm just that's it. I run the show wherever I'm at. Period. But I do know when to step back, and be humble, and because they do. That's it. I just can only be. I can't be. I can't be ruled by nobody, anybody. I don't. Nobody has jurisdiction over me when it comes to a certain. When it comes to that, where you're just outright just want to be evil to me, then that's not. Then it's 9-inch nails. It's over. So and I would because you're not like that. You're not evil. You're not evil, honey. I know that. I can't wait. I can just I just I don't mean to be weird to the rest of you that are gonna look at this, but man, I just can't wait to be complete in myself. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome just to be with my fleshly wife, and just so that I can just in so many ways is not to lay my burdens on anybody, but in a way that's I've been so absent and just fighting so long and so hard, and now I know what for. And so it's been it, and I've gotten that taste enough to know that as long as I be faithful to him first, and then to her whom she's becoming, then it'll be the one. It'll be the one, and we'll be just right for each other. And then you'll know that there's going to be no infidelity. You'll know that the whole time how foolish you've been, but it's all right because you've been, that's why you've been cheering along for the dipshit. And it's all right. I'm still, you just, it's okay because it was all just meant to happen so that we could just love one another, each other, and be that love for people to become who they're created in that image, so that we're all just one big family. Yes, we'll have our time and yes, I do want to be left alone in a lot of senses. There's that time so that we can just have our time. But there's also souls to be salvaged, and people need to be prayed over, and their hands, you know, held, and you know, demons cast out, and prophesy over people, and just delivering good news to those that said, I've been waiting for this, and we're all waiting for the same thing. It's not like we hold the key to unlocking anything that they haven't already had. It's just that now they're, and this vice versa. Once That's why we work off each other. That's why it says meditate. You meditate on these things that are good, these positive, true, that were beneficial, that were things that were tangible, measurable, um, things that you can see, not only obtainable through just day after day. It's provable. You're like, wow, it's same thing. We're all. There's no big I, little you. It's the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. Just a different part of that same head. It's all, and once you get in there, you're just like, wow, man, you start fitting in your own skin, and you're like, I don't, don't get too used to it because you're going to get a new body. And it's on, boy. But meanwhile, you can still have fun and you get your, you just rest and relax and, where to grow. That growing old together is just growing young because we grow old because of sin outside, but inside and as children, we become, he said, well, how are we going to be born again? How could we go into our mother's womb again? He even asked, must have a mind like a child. That's faith. That's what he's saying. He's been saying it over and over, but they try to pull out as much as they can. They try to obscure because they don't think you're going to go read enough into it to seek, because people well, if we just throw them enough bones and get them complacent and distracted, they won't read enough of what's already been manipulated. That's why it said it's got rules too. It's like Mr. Caracode said, it goes to and from. It says, right, it goes to and fro. Where have you been? I to and fro, accusing the brethren, accusing humanity, going to and fro. That's how we know. That's why I said. And I believe he's onto something. That second heaven, and then the third heaven, which is they've been trying to get through for a long time, and all that fallen is right there. It's all starting to come together right now over me. Well, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and that's why the Lord is allowing this to happen. So you can go, wow, maybe I can jump on this bandwagon and see there really is no big guys, or I'm too old, or, I'm too young, or, you don't have to be old to be wise. You just have to get on the Trump train. You know what I'm talking? Trumpet. Stay triumphant. Truth trumpeteers. It's all in what? Seven spirits? There's seven of every, so we got to read Revelation. Right there, Alpha Omega. It's the beginning and the end. So you gotta stay breaded up. You gotta stay all breaded in. Wash it down with the water. It's that faith. Faith, 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 faith. And some people say, oh, there's those faith. Because some of them just take it to the extreme. And what they do is it's just like that FE, the flat earth. They'll just completely just ridiculize it, so that when anybody even remotely wants to see something it's going to be, oh, this is just complete. I knew this. It's all by design. That's why they have ding dongs that try to, discredit all the. It's a conspiracy. That was funny. Yes, that's right. It sure is. That's funny. That might have been Mr. L himself, but I doubt it. You never know. So yeah, I gotta go. It's 2 hours. I gotta go. So we'll start getting to the harvest time and how I hold on, baby. I'm gonna be right done. Hi, baby boy. I'll be done in 1 minute. How about 1 minute? 1 minute. Okay. Love you. He gave me a little smoochy. Um. So when you talk to them like adults with respect, they just usually respond. Otherwise, he'd have just hey. He just wants to be on TV. He just wants to be with old Papa, and he'd have just told me basically if I would have, he'd have spun out like he does sometimes. He'd have just hit spin cycle on, and I would have been like he did the other day and started climbing over the old gate. So I love you guys. I got to go, and if there's anything else I want to brush over this, just to make sure, and I got to go. Oh, and that. Nope, nothing that cannot wait till tomorrow. I just have to stay disciplined, people. Otherwise, and then also it's time. It's time because I can. And then if it gets, I don't know what personalities. I don't know where we're going, and that gets a little bit of alcohol on top of that. Man, you might as well just. And then I'm not going to bring that kind of stuff with that baby. No, 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 no. I just refuse. I just don't. But still, it can get pretty raunchy. Okay, I love you, Millie, love you, all you guys. I love you, and but Millie, and I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna run this, and let's see. I always want to try to look into here. It's like old. I think it was Romper Room, wasn't it? That old. Uga shaka. So you could get a good stare in them because it's always good. All right, love you guys. See you tomorrow night. And what else? I hate to go like this. I really do. But I'm gonna, because I have to. Okay, I love you guys. Have a good one. I'm ending it. That's it.